Welcome to Called Sister for Women of Faith. This is the podcast where I chat with returned missionaries and current missionaries, sister missionaries, all throughout the world, and we talk about their experience. And so this is for any woman, anyone, but any woman who needs a little uplifting. Waters and I were just talking about soul hugs. If you need a soul hug, this could be the episode for you. And so like, subscribe, share, let's get this out to everybody so that we can uplift each other as women. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my podcast guest today. Oh, I'm your host, Sarah. I should let you know that. But without further ado, I want to introduce you to my guest, Makenna Waters. Welcome.
Hi, it's so good to see you.
I'm so glad you're here. So can you start off, I know I just said your name, but can you start off by sharing where you served and when? And you can say your name again if you want.
Yep. I'm Makenna. I served in the New Jersey Morristown Mission, which included part of New York as well, which is where I met Sarah. And I served back in January. So I started January 2018, got home July 2019. Yeah. So it's been a while.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time is weird, isn't it? Oh,
It
that's so
truly
crazy.
feels like another life sometimes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So Waters, did you always want to serve a mission?
Um, no, I didn't. I feel like I kind of had uh maybe a typical experience at BYU. I don't know, but like I was at BYU doing the college life, and then I like a lot of my friends were going on missions, people around me were, and I was like, huh, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I didn't really like think about it a ton. And then I actually was in women's chorus at BYU. And we sang in general conference. And during one of the songs, I just like felt, I was like, whoa, I need to go. Cause I was kind of like in this in between, like, I don't want to go just because everybody else is going. I want to go because I like feel like ready and want to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was definitely a moment where I was like, okay, I need to I need to be somewhere else and um do what the Lord wants me to do in this moment, and like that was it. And so I was living with my sister at the time, and she had just gotten back from her mission. So I was also like kind of like I don't want to like leave her because I haven't seen her in so long. But it was actually a really beautiful kind of like transition time where we both got to like I got to learn from her, and she kind of got to help me prepare. And yeah, it was the best decision truly of my one of the best decisions of my life. I loved my mission.
That's
Truly.
amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. How was I actually thought this is a weird question, but I kind of want to just jump right into it. So I hope this is okay for asking. But I know that you guys spent a lot of time at our house, and we had a lot of really cool spiritual experiences. Are
Yeah.
you? Let's see. I don't even know. The question I guess I'm trying to ask is, could you talk about the importance of having sort of a safe haven while you're on your mission?
Yeah.
A place that you can go because the mission is hard. Like, gosh, we'd all love to
Totally.
say, it's the best 18 months and 2 years of your life. And it is fine up until that point, probably. It's also the worst and the hardest. And like it's full of every single emotion. And I know that we had so many experiences with you, we'll just say you specifically at our home. And so are you, is that cool? Are you able to kind of talk to the importance of that?
Yeah, for sure. Because, like you said, like I loved my mission, and it was like tailor made very hard for me in a lot of different ways. And definitely like stretched me in ways that I didn't know I could be stretched.
Mhm.
Um, but the safe haven part is something that like isn't talked about enough. I think because there was a couple like families where including yours, obviously, where I
Obviously.
truly like because you're away from home, you're away from everything that you know. You're learning a new language in some cases. Like it's
Well, it's a new
very,
culture, regardless, even if you go like somewhere in the States, because you went to New York for crying out loud from Idaho. Like that's not even the same
yeah,
universe.
right. And a little white girl speaking Spanish, like crazy. But yeah, having a place where you can kind of just land and not feel like you have to like perform or be anyone else that you aren't, and feel that like connection and warmth like your own family, that is like so special. Because the mission isn't just about like work, 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 being a robot. Like you're human too, and having a place, a home, a family, a person, whatever it is that you can just go to and feel like yourself and like you can breathe and be like, okay, I can rest here. Those are some of the most like life-changing moments. Because yeah, it's a beautiful thing, but you need connection and support and community too. Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember there were a handful of families on my mission where I could just go and I just felt like I could be me. I know Cora has said the same thing. Like there's right now she's in a place in France where there's this lady.
Yeah.
She said she's like 98 years old. She's like, I can just be myself around her, you know? And she's like, I think they're soul creatures, those two. But it is, I think it's so important to one of the emphasis is often, perfect obedience. And I understand the theory of it, but one of
Mm-hmm.
the reasons I'm doing this specific podcast is because girls are different than boys. And
Yeah.
which sounds like a silly thing to say, but perfect obedience to boys, I think, is more like, okay, I mean, I'll do my best. If I don't do it, like no big deal. But for girls, it's like, oh my gosh, I got up at 6:31. I am now the worst. And so,
I ending. Yeah.
right, like, and now all day I don't have the spirit and I'm horrible. And that's not the truth. The truth is we do the best we can. And you taught me this, Waters, I think from the pulpit. And I have repeated it ever since I heard it from you when you talked about Maya Angelou. We do the best we can with what we know, and when we know better, we do better. And I think
Yes.
that if we taught more that way, like how
Mhm.
much kinder would it be
Yeah.
to everyone, especially to the girls who are beating themselves up for. I mean, I cut all of my skirts in the MTC, all of them. I had them all like slashed because they were too long. And then I got out to the mission field and I was like, I didn't need to do that, but I was so scared of not being perfect. Did you
Yeah.
did you ever feel like you had to be perfect?
Oh, yes. 100%. And that pressure just like weighs on you so much. But
Mm-hmm.
like even like in the years after coming home from the mission, I think this is one of the things I've learned most is just to be gentle with yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
really you need to be compassionate with yourself and where you're at, and like also just as much as you like see your imperfections or what you could be doing better or whatever, like you also need to look at what you have done and what you are doing and who you are becoming like in the process too. Like it's not just like when we focus on trying to be perfect or doing all these things, because we all have things to improve on. Like we're human, we're imperfect, but just extending some compassion and grace to yourself like you would and do to others is like a big a big deal. It's life
How
changing.
I love that you said that. How have you like were you able to do that on the mission? And how have you been able to do that since you're home? Like what have you I don't know, what are some of your ways of doing that, of showing yourself some grace and kindness?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's ever changing and ever growing, but on the
Right.
mission, um, I think it was just like small moments of like taking time to be by myself, as weird as that sounds, but just like even in the shower, I would just be like, okay, I'm okay. And there was certain companions where I really was like, I could laugh with them, talk to them, and that was really great. Um, Writing is like really powerful for me too. So just like writing down a stream of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember on the mission, like praying and asking Heavenly Father to help me, like, as I was reading back, maybe like change some of my mindsets of like towards myself specifically. Um, Cause yeah, I could be really mean to myself on the mission. And I look back and I'm like, oh, baby girl, like you didn't have to be perfect. It's okay. But
Yeah.
like asking for divine help to see yourself the way that he sees you, the way that other people see you, like on paper in front of me, that was one of the things I did on the mission. Um, and now, I mean, I feel like I do a lot of different things now, but therapy, I love therapy. That has helped me a lot with
Good.
just like seeing myself and others in a more compassionate light, and just like connecting with nature, being outside, doing the things that like bring me joy and happiness and fill my bucket so I can keep, you know, doing that for other people as well. So I feel like
I
there's a
love,
lot, but that's
yeah,
just a couple of things.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned all those things. I know Cora, like her way of healing. She's like, Mom, I got to lay on the grass today. Like she just
Yeah.
lays on the grass like in a starfish position,
Uh,
just like oh,
so real.
like
Yeah.
that's yeah, just her, just grounding. And I
Yeah.
think that I love that, at least as far as I can see, and maybe in my mind and in my world, things are changing in the way things are taught. And perhaps it's just the way that I'm doing it. And that
Yeah.
I think that sometimes we've talked so much about serving others that we forget that it's okay to sort of serve ourselves as well and do things that we love. Like you mentioned that, do something that heals you and helps you. And sometimes we're so focused on looking outward, we're just draining that battery and we just don't have anything left. My brother actually showed me this video a while ago. You know how on airplanes they say like, put on your oxygen mask first, and and everybody's like, oh, well, he showed me this
Mm.
video of this guy, and I'm going to butcher it, but I'll do sort of a gist of how there was a doctor there, like everything was okay, he was safe, but he didn't put on the oxygen mask, and just watching like his cognitive skills and everything just like dissipate. Like he had one of those, those toys that have like they're like a circle and you have there's a like a star and a square and a circle and like for babies that you have to put it in. He was doing it obviously fine. And then
Right.
as the oxygen started going away from him, he was trying to do it and he couldn't. And they're like, you need to put on your oxygen mask. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like he couldn't get there from here. And they're like, well, you're going to die if you don't put it on. He's like, I don't want to die. But that was
Right.
it. That was all he had. And so, I mean, it's a real thing, but also it's such a good analogy for, when we serve so much that we lose ourselves. Like that's not
Mm.
okay either. Jesus and Heavenly Father don't want us to, they want us to lose ourselves so we can find ourselves, but not so much that like there's nothing left. So
Totally.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that you said that. Find what you can do for you.
Mm-hmm. And it can be both. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I struggled a lot with like I can't think of myself or like focus on myself because it's too selfish, or like
Mhm.
a bad person or a bad missionary. But in reality, like it makes you a better missionary and a better person when you're coming from a place of like fullness and
Mhm.
abundance to be able to share with others instead of running on empty. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, we kind of went on a bit of a tangent with that, but I think it's really important, especially
Yeah.
I know I say especially for girls, but I am a girl, so I understand how girls' minds think, and so
Yeah.
are you, and so we can speak to that, and just the things that I see sister missionaries struggling with versus the boys. It's a very
Yeah.
different experience. We have so much compassion and love for those that we teach, and we're so invested that we can sometimes lose ourselves. So that's really
For sure.
beautiful. Do you have any fun or favorite mission experiences that you
Oh,
either think about or would like to share with us? Yeah.
so many, so many. One of my favorites. I always think of this. So, um, in New York, Jim Waters at the Salvation Army. I don't know if you ever.
Yeah. No, but I've heard about him. I never met him, but you guys loved him. Okay. Yeah. Talk about him.
This was so much fun. Not only because we share a last name and he was like my lost grandpa, whatever. But he was just one of the like brightest humans I've ever met. He like ran this he's like in charge of Salvation Army and would like we'd go and like help make meals for people on the streets and like go and hand them out. And some of my favorite memories are Jim Waters, this old white New Yorker, like sweetest as can be, trying to speak Spanish to those people on the streets. And like in his New Yorker accent, I remember him saying, "Que Dios los bendiga, que Dios los bendiga," like all the time. And it was just like so heartfelt and like pure and wholesome. And just like the way that he served others was like without any guile, like just such a beautiful thing to witness. And I think that's like always a standout for me. And I don't know, I just loved getting to know so many different people who were so different than me and learned so much from them, and it like expanded my heart and my capacity to love in like such a big way. I don't know how to describe it, but that
Tell us about
yeah.
so I know that you made the meals and then delivered them. Like
Yes.
what was it like handing a meal to somebody who didn't have a home, but you were bringing them food? Like, can you kind of describe the
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah. Yeah. So we were inside of this big truck. It was probably against mission rules because we all just rode in the back, like no seatbelts, but it was fun. And we just, people came up to us. We like parked in different like hot spots, I guess you could,
Oh,
of
I
like,
didn't know that. Okay.
yeah.
Where
And
were you? What town? Do you remember?
it was New City. New
Oh, it
City.
was New City. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, people were just like so humbled, so grateful. And it just like, it really kind of like shattered my view of the world a little bit too, of like people live like this. And like, you
Mm.
know, coming from Idaho, I didn't see much of that, or didn't like see it up close and in person. So it was like very, very humbling to see people in such need. So grateful for a warm meal on a cold day in New York where they are sleeping, you know, like in the freezing cold and trying to survive, you know, just like a completely different way of living, but like always so kind, telling us stories of their lives and like how they got to where they were. Like most of them were, you know, the Hispanic population. Um, but just yeah, yeah, very humbling. I don't know how else to describe it. That's just the word that comes to my mind. But
Did you did you feel like you saw them? This is such a loaded question. I think the answer is probably going to be yes. I'm not trying to lead you. I'm just
right.
curious. Like often, like if I'm driving in my car and I see someone who's homeless, I want to help them, but I'm honestly often a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Were those feelings different for you when you were going there for a purpose to help? Like, did you see them different?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, especially because I wasn't alone and
Mm,
we were all together sharing something for the same purpose.
yeah.
Sorry, somebody's knocking on my door. I'm like
Oh, you're
distracted.
good.
Um, but yeah, I think I just saw them as people who,
Yeah.
you know, got dealt a really rough set of cards in life, but like didn't take away from their value or worth. Like just being able to connect with them, even though we were in completely different parts of life. If that makes
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like it's like a warp zone, where everybody kind of meets up together in this place where you
sense.
wouldn't normally meet.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. I remember, I think people talked about him for a long time. A lot of missionaries just loved that experience. I never got to do it. I feel like, you know why? It was because I had little kids and they had to be a certain age and I couldn't
Uh,
go. I think that was why. Because I was like, why did I never go? Because I would love this, but I was always like, can my kids go? And they had to be older than whatever age of, I think Reese and Colby were too young.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I had totally forgotten that you guys did that and loved it so much. So
Hmm.
a lot of girls listen to this who are thinking about serving a mission. We have a lot of missionaries, actually sister missionaries, who are on missions, who are starting to listen to this, and ladies who have come home from missions. Is there
Hmm.
anything that you would like, if you can imagine any one of those groups? I mean, Reese is about to go on a mission, Cora is on a mission. Is there
Yeah.
anything you would want to tell? Is there anything from your mission that you're like, if I had known this, and I really want to pass it on and share, what would it
Yeah.
be?
Yeah. I think um it sounds like so stereotypical, but they need you and you're like as your whole self. Like you don't have to try to be or do anything that doesn't feel like authentic to who you are.
Mm,
Um, there's specific people that I really believe like we're meant to meet and connect with that you can only meet and connect with as yourself.
mm,
And um, being fully like whatever personality traits, quirks that you have, like it's just a beautiful thing that we're so multi-dimensioned as women and people and humans. So like it just reminds me of something my grandpa told me before I went out too. He's like, not everyone's gonna like you. You're not everybody's cup of tea, but there's gonna be people that like tea. And I was like, yeah, it's just such a good mindset to go into instead of like feeling like I have to be this perfect missionary and everybody has to like me and like
mm.
people pleasing or whatever. Just like, I don't know, be yourself. Um, your gifts, your personality, like everything about you is divine and God given. And that's why, like, He sent you to where you need to be with the people you need to be with. And yeah, don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah, I
I
don't.
love that. I love it. I think that's so beautiful. I think that it's so easy to get caught up in like who your trainer is or who
Mhm.
this person is that you knew was a missionary or, you know, whatever and trying so hard to be that person that you lose yourself and you
Mhm.
weren't called to be a missionary as someone else. You were called to be a representative of Jesus in the way that you know how to do it. Like that's your calling. Be you. You yourself were called
Yeah.
to, I mean, Morristown, New Jersey, blah, 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 but New York. And
Mhm.
part of it was for me. I mean, you and I were talking about this ahead of time. Like
Yeah.
there was a connection that you and I had that is so special.
Mhm.
And maybe, you know, so many of you out there who are watching this, who are thinking about going on missions, who have served missions, you'll think of that person, you know,
Mhm.
and maybe there's that one person that you just still adore and love and think about all the time. And I think it's beautiful that Heavenly Father sets that up so that, you know, when you're however old and they're however old, he lets your paths cross again. I think it's really, really beautiful.
Yes. Beautiful ripples.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, I mean, our time's up essentially, if you can
Well,
even believe it. It goes so fast. I know it
yeah.
goes so fast. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we close it down?
Just I think this is amazing what you're doing and so
Oh,
important. And I'm so just grateful for you and the way that you live your life and share it with others. You're such a light.
oh. Well, thank you. I feel the same way about you. I've seen some of your posts and just the things like we speak the same, I don't know, was it soul language maybe? With it's
Yeah.
just like there's
Yeah.
just things that we speak that make sense and I love it so much. And I love that we were able to connect on your mission and that we're able to stay connected. And
Me
you
too.
know, it doesn't mean that there's going to be less trials. It doesn't mean that things all of a sudden get really, really easy. What it
Hmm.
does mean is that we know where some steady foundation is. And it's beautiful because, man, this life is rocky, isn't it? And so when we know at least we have one spot where we can land or a few spots we can land, it's really beautiful. So thank you so much for coming on. I have loved chatting with
Thank
you and reminiscing and
you.
remembering. You're adorable. And I just want to reach through and just like hold you again.
I
I I just
I,
love you so much.
I love you too. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And if you enjoy this podcast, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, all the things that I never thought I'd be saying in my life, but I am, because let's get this out there. Let's get this out to all of the women so that they can be uplifted and learn how to be kinder to themselves and realize how incredible each of them are, that they don't have to be somebody else. They can be absolutely who they are. And with that, we love you and we hope you have a rad day. We'll see you. Mwah.